So hello guys, welcome back to another video. This is round 3 at the under 1700 World Amateurs Championship that's happening in Oman, in Muscats of Oman. So this is round 3. Zadock is with the black pieces facing Salmani, who's quite underrated, who's quite not underrated but low rated compared to Zadock. But let's check out the game. So the opponent starts with e4, d5. Zadock again plays takes, queen takes, knight to c3, and queen back to d8. So we're going to be following the line that he played in round 1, I think. And there's going to be a variation, a slight variation compared to the other game, but the opponent seems to be better prepared than the other. So d4, knight to f6, knight to f3, bishop to f5, there's bishop to e3, exchange, and now c6. So c6 just prevents any knight jumps into the center and prepare something like maybe e6, bishop to e7, bishop to e7, knight bd7, and the game, sort of continues with natural development for black. So, pardon. d4, queen takes, knight to c3, and after c6, castles, e6, bishop to g5, just continuing development, bishop to e7, rook e1, knight bd7, h3, and castles. Okay, I don't really understand why h3 was played, maybe to prevent any knight jumps, but also to maybe create a luft for the king for later on in the endgame. It's better to have that square ready to avoid any back rank checkmates, but again, I think h3 is just wasting time. Could maybe try something else, maybe try developing, maybe bring the other rook a1 to d1, and try and doubling up the rooks or something and just continue the game. So h3 to me is a slow move. So h3, castles, rook a d1, queen b6, just putting some pressure on the b2 pawn, so the opponent defends it. The other rook is developed, and knight to e4. So if you look at the position in this place, I think the opening is done from here. I think black has fully equalized. White still has to figure out a plan. I don't see a clear-cut way that white can try and exploit the position. So it's still equal. Nobody has a high advantage in the game, but equal. But then it's still, I think white still has a point to prove in the position, because it's not really, I can't really see an outright plan. Maybe one of these knight jumps into the center or something, but it doesn't look very easy to play. So knight to e4, and knight to e4, you can't really capture on e4 as black, because then you lose game to bishop takes on e7, you lose the game. So instead, Zadock just gets one of the rooks out of the fork, and also defending on e7. So bishop to h4 is played, knight captures on e4, and the fatal mistake here that white makes is bishop takes on e7. So better to play, I think, is queen takes on e4, bishop takes, queen takes, because you can also, okay, get back to the position. So after takes, you can also take with the rook, no harm. But then after rook takes, bishop takes, and rook takes, we have a rook on h4 that looks misplaced in some way. G6 is just playable in the game. Still dicey. G6 or h6, either of the two is playable. So instead, taking with the queen looks much better, because then after bishop takes on h4, queen takes on h4, the queen is a much more dangerous piece on the h file than the rook. So the game continued after knight takes on e4. Salmani took on e7, and this was a fatal mistake, because then knight takes on f2, forking the queen and the rook, a very nice Zug. So right now you can't really ignore this threat and play anything else like rook takes, you just lose your queen, because I mean bishop takes the rook, you lose your queen, and after you capture back, black captures, and if you look at the position, you're a queen for a rook down the you're a queen for a rook down the exchange. So after knight takes on f2, king takes on f2 is forced, and now the bishop is lost. So in the process, black gained a pawn, king to f1, knight to f6, just opening up the rooks, preparing to double them up, pawn to c4, and the rooks are now doubled with rook to d7, queen to c3, just getting out of the way of the rooks. But I mean, it's really hard to find something to play in this position, because with the rooks on the d file staring down this file, you always get the you know, like the feeling that your queen is threatened on d3 and you want to move it away. But then I mean, you can try and find some other moves to play. Okay, knight to e5 is not playable because then just rook captures on d2, on d4 I mean. So really hard to figure out a plan. Maybe queen to c3, maybe queen to e. Okay, I understand why you played queen to c3, wants to keep the defense of the pawn, but then it's just hard to play from here. So pawn to c5 was played, just undermining the center. Pawn takes, queen takes, rook takes, and now queen to e3, offering the queen trade. Zadock declines and plays his queen to a3, attacking the pawn on a2. And black is now applying a ton of pressure on white's position. This is almost at the brink of, you know, crumbling. So queen to e2 defending, and pawn to h6, also creating a loop, just creating a square, an escape square for the king in case of any back rank checks. Queen to c2, a6, knight to e5, rook to d4, knight to f3, now rook to d6. Pawn to c5 was played, and now this was the fatal mistake because now another pawn is going to fall. Rook to c6, incredibly hard to keep defense of that pawn. After rook to e5, which looks like it's defending the pawn, the knight just comes into the way and there is no defense of that pawn anymore. Knight to g5 was played, which I did not really understand. You know, maybe if it's a bullet game and you're banking on the idea that your opponent is just going to capture the queen so that you can match them on the h7 file, but knight to g5 is just lost from here. So takes, rook takes, and check, forking the king and the queen, forking the king and the queen, and the game was over. So this was a beautiful game from Zadock. Zadock played a beautiful game in round 3, and he's now on 2 points out of 3. And today he's going to be playing, let me check the pairings so that I don't confuse you guys. So he's going to be playing Zadock Nyakundi. He's on board 21. He's going to be playing Saket Kumar, another Indian player who I guess it won't be such an easy game. And also we have also a few other Kenyan players who are playing the tournament. We have Nathaniel Mugwanza, I mean, he needs no introduction. He's a prodigy in Kenya, the best, I think, and he's playing under 15, under 12 or something. He's really young and he has a lot of talent. So Zadock is on 2 points. We have Satak Patnaik from Nairobi Chess Club, who is also on 2 points, and he's playing Volkan Rezat. I mean, this is going to be a very tough game. Also eyes out for that game. We have Mugwanza Nathaniel, who's playing Mohamed Yusuf Al Ali, also 15-20, very tough game. We also have a bunch of other players. We have Dadson Rubber, who's on, I think, 1.5 points out of 3. Let me try and look for his pairing. He's playing Hamad Al Kuwari, an 1100 rated player, and this is one to watch out for. So yeah, those are the games. We also have Karaoke Wilson, who is unrated, and yeah, we have Uchieng Morris, you have Flavian Atong. I mean, there's so many other players. You can check the pairings on chess results. And yeah, that was the game between Zadock and Al. I can't even remember the name, but be watching out for round 4. Round 4 starts today at 4 p.m. I think it's on. If you have Follow Chess, if you have the application Follow Chess, the games are being broadcasted there. So yeah, that was it. I hope you have an amazing day.